Hello, welcome to another edition of Like It Is, the talk show committed to improving the community. I'm Deja Gilmore. My co-host Nick Smith will not be with us for this episode. He's currently helping with hurricane relief in Houston. Nick, we salute you. Today, we're talking black hair. For decades, black women have relaxed, weaved, and heated to make their hair straight for acceptance in our Caucasian-influenced society. However, in recent years, black women have begun to embrace their untamed mane, choosing to go natural, redefining society's perception of what is good hair. On today's show, we will examine the entangled history, professional acceptance, cultural appropriation, and how to maintain those beautiful, healthy tresses. We're telling it like it is.
Talk about it.
What we see around us, we don't believe that because we want to buy into standards.
Talk about it.
We have to prove that we're good fathers. When, as far as the mothers, it's just assumed.
Talk about it.
So I'll wait on the check. I'll keep myself a separate.
Talk about it.
I'm a black man trying to save a black man, and I noticed as I looked around the whole room, there's no one helping me.
Talk about it.
Reality is, if it affects you, it affects me.
Talk about it.
Here to discuss what is being called the natural hair movement are runway models Sequoia Chavon and Tara Dean, owner of Tara's Hair Salon and Spa in Voorhees, New Jersey. Thank you for being a part of the discussion.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's dive right in. What is the definition of natural hair?
Well, to me, definition of natural hair is the original texture hair, such as coarse, kinky, coily, that you're born with. I feel like it's a liberating thing, natural hair. I feel like that is something that we all should celebrate because it's something that we all were born with and it was stripped from us when we were brought here.
Is there any addendum to that definition of natural hair? Because I know a lot of people talk about the chemical process
Yes.
of altering our hair. Does that have something to do with it?
Well, what I was going to say is I agree with what she said, but I think that's more of wearing your hair in a natural state versus just natural hair. Our salon, we promote natural hair. A lot of maybe 80% of our clients choose to wear their hair blown out, although when we wash it, their natural coil is still from root to end. So I'm here for any healthy hair that is, chemical free, maintenance, whether it's in its natural state or blown out and beautiful.
Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about chemically treating it. They say that 80 to 90% of black women have at least chemically altered their hair at least once in their life. Do we see a change in that trend? Lately, a lot of people have been going natural. What do we attribute that increase or decrease to?
I attribute it to the movement. I think when more people came together, it allowed the masses to feel liberated in their natural state and to feel beautiful, in their own because they have other sisters who are standing with them. I've been preaching natural hair for the longest, like you really don't need it, and no one wanted to believe me. But once the movement came, it was like, oh, I gotta go to Tara's because Tara knows about that natural hair, So it did even help me in business. It helped my heart because I do not like to do the chemical. I will do it in a very safe way. If someone begs for it. But yeah, I prefer no chemical. I prefer naturally healthy hair.
Yeah, I personally, what helped me become natural is in 2009 when Chris Rock created his documentary Good Hair, that changed my whole perspective on perms. Like I was like, I do not want that in my hair. I'm ruining my hair. So that is really what made me progress into natural hair.
Okay. So it sounds almost like a collective consciousness that we're thinking of, basically self-love, acceptance. But there's also that other portion of it being a bandwagon trend. Do you think that some women jump on it because of that, because of the popularity of it?
I do, to a sense. I feel like those women will jump on the bandwagon and then after a while they'll say, it's not for me, I don't really like it because they're not used to that whole texture, or they're seeing their natural hair, so then they just stop and go back to perms or weaves or whatever else they choose. So I do think sometimes it is a bandwagon thing, but I do think it's primarily like conscious self-love type of thing.
Okay.
I agree. Some women have no choice but to stop. Like I said, I'm preaching it, Chris Rock says it, creamy crack, and then they're noticing, oh, is that what this is? Is that why my edges are that way? Is that why my hair is thinning on top? And there's a lot of damages that comes from those chemicals that seep underneath the skin's layer that can cause issues for years to come. So some of them didn't have a choice. The thinner their hair got, they're like, okay, if I leave it natural, you can't see through there. You know, if I relax it, it's, you know. So I think the bandwagon people did jump on and jump off.
Okay.
However, some people, they would have to go there. Most people would have to go there eventually.
Okay.
You're right, because sorry to add something.
okay.
When I was perming my hair, I had the option of either I had to cut it all off or just let my new growth come through. So I chose to let my new growth come through. So yeah, you're right. Like you have the.
And is that a big fear of a lot of women to go natural? And it's like, oh, I have to do the big chop. You know what I mean? A lot of women are afraid of that. So, you know, helping them transition to that, you know, tell me a little bit about how you help women transition who don't want to go through that big chop.
Yeah, so that was pretty much my step into the hair market. I never liked relaxers, so I never, my mom did them for me when I was younger, but as I got older, I didn't like it. I felt like it made my hair thinner as soon as they did it. I was also able to show people that there's other things you can do to where you don't have to experience a big chop. I didn't want a relaxer, but I was not cutting my hair off, you know? So it was like, that was the crossroad. Do you do it, do you not? And so I chose to do a bob, and once I did a shorter cut, it was easier to maintenance the two textures on my hair, but then I started protective styles, you know. Some people do braids, some people will do locks, well, not permanent locks, but you know, crochet and weaving and things of that nature. And I noticed with me, weaving was my thing, did it a couple times, I noticed 4 and 5 inches of growth, and once I got my new growth to here, that's all I needed. Cut it off and we'll work with it from here.
Right,
And
okay.
from then, it's just been leaps and bounds.
Now you mentioned locks, and I know a couple of our women have some locks in the audience. So are locks considered natural hair even though they have to be manipulated to get the lock?
Oh, it's absolutely natural hair. Any hair that is chemical free would be considered natural hair.
Right.
So yes, they are definitely natural. There's not a lot of, there is no chemical that goes into the process. Although there's maintenance treatments for all hair. Even if we have natural hair, you still have to use products. All of those products they don't have chemical. Most people maintain their locks with absolutely natural, all natural products.
Okay. And then I guess my final question in regards to the national hair movement, is this a vehicle for social and political change? We know back in the 60s, Angela Davis, you know, and the iconic fro that she had, you know, really pushed change and how we perceive what Black beauty was. Do you think that is the same goal of the natural hair movement today, or has it kind of changed and shifted for the goals of today?
I think it's very similar. You know, the style may be a little different, but you know, accepting your natural self and your natural state, you know, that's what the movement is about. That's what empowers most of us women. So I think that it's very similar, just a new trend.
Gotcha.
And to add to that, like I personally feel like liberated, and I feel like I'm closer to my culture when I have my hair like natural and I have my afro out. I feel like I have something apart that, you know, I had from Africa that I normally wouldn't have in America. I feel like closer to home.
Does the audience have any questions or comments?
I just wanted to add, I definitely agree with our panel members, but my personal reason for treating my hair with chemicals was for convenience. I'm a teacher, so I'm always on the go. I do things after work, and I don't want to wake up and, you know, my hair will be unpredictable. Will it cooperate with me today? But I just know, like when I had perm in my hair, it was easier for me to wake up and go. And if the hair style doesn't work, I can always throw it in a ponytail.
Does having chemicals in your hair make it a little bit more convenient for Black women to style their hair?
It does make it more convenient. It depends on what you consider styling, you know? And I agree, you know. I'm the type of person, and a vast majority of my clientele, they don't mind their hair's natural state. So waking up in the morning and re-wetting their hair for a nice curl pattern and maybe taking a bobby pin or two and pinning 2 sides back or pinning 1 side up, or, you know, even that same ponytail with your natural graces, you know, like it still is very simple and easy, but it depends on how you want to look. I'm personally not one, especially with my own hair, to wear it just like all out and natural with no, I need style, I need to look feel kept. Let me say that right. I don't want to say look, because I love free natural hair as well.
So does that struggle come from the basis that a lot of our culture was stripped from us and not being able to, or learning or knowing how to care for our hair and being comfortable with those styles that we originally had, back in ancient Egypt and, just had as a part of our culture and heritage? Is that a part of that?
I would say so. I don't think that that's the only reason. We weren't here during the transition, but again, like other things, and the media influences the way we see what is good, what is bad, what is, right and wrong. Even with hair in the workplace and things of that nature, it was always, they would say to keep it kempt or tamed. It's always like they made us feel like if we just came as ourselves, we were not right. So I do feel like a lot of that came from them. Once our hair is straight and flat, then we feel like, okay, this is good, I can go. I don't feel as though that what your hair looks like should be a deciding factor on your employment or if you are appropriate for work. So I do think they brainwash us a little, but it's also how you like to look at yourself. I hate to tell people that they shouldn't like their hair when their hair is straight. Both ways is fine.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much so far, and we'll be right back with more. You're tuned in to Like It Is. Welcome back. Let's get to the root of the issue. Definitely a pun intended. Going back to the question asked last break, when did Black people become so against, embarrassed by, and even dissatisfied with their hair?
I definitely think it goes back to what we talked about earlier. Why I hate to call it media, because it comes from way back. And I even, when they talk about the term nappy, they say the word nap comes from the cotton, or and because it looked like our hair, they came up with that name for us. So I think those names were thrown out there to make us just like ourselves.
Right.
And I can't even get over the amount of attention you get from natural hair. And it's like, oh, can I touch it? Can I? You obviously thought it was very interesting. So the intimidating factor is to make us hate ourselves. So I think that that's where the disgrace and dissatisfaction came in, excuse me.
Right.
I definitely agree. And I feel like they wanted us to feel embarrassed because they were jealous, so that therefore they're like, let's make them hate themselves so much to the point that they're gonna want to change and look like us, which now we're kind of flipping it, and we're starting to love ourselves, and we're starting to love ourselves, and we're starting to say, hey, we are beautiful the way we are. And that's where it originated in the 60s when Kathleen Cleaver and Angela Davis were saying, we're loving ourselves, this is who we are, and we're gonna accept it. And they're starting to accept it now too. Exactly. And they want what we want, with the wigs and the locks and everything else. Like, it's just loving ourselves.
Exactly, and you bring up additional hairstyles, whether you're wearing a weave, whether you got locks, whether you want to still perm your hair. Black is beautiful. Black hair is beautiful no matter what you choose. So, how can we get over this ideology, this mentality of, kind of still in that, oh, this is good hair versus bad hair, type of thing. What will it take for the Black community to really recognize and really see that all Black hair is beautiful, and we need to show it off?
I think with actresses and models and people coming forward like Viola Davis and Ducky Thot, Iman coming forward and having their natural hair and letting like little girls see it, it helps them like, oh, I want to look like them, I want to love myself as well. Because I personally, I personally, whenever I saw someone on television that looked like me, I wanted to embrace myself. So I feel like if we just keep the natural hair movement going and like have people come forward, we should be fine.
I've also noticed that major companies, Campbell Soups, McDonald's, Banks, they're using us in commercials, like mixed kids and Black people. It's all about the ethnic hair and the texture, and they love that. Like, I think with the mainstream world starting to embrace it more, it's becoming more normal, It's becoming more accepted, you know? For sure. So I think that's definitely gonna help.
Right.
To add to what you said, there's definitely discrimination with texture though. Like I personally am 4C, very, very kinky coarse. But in the media and with like modeling and stuff, they love like the mix, like the hair that you can like comb through type of thing. So like if they have my texture, they're not really that interested because it's almost like too black, you know what I mean? So
Now, as a model then, you know, you really set yourself out there as a natural haired model. You're redefining what beauty is on the runway in fashion. How are you going about that? Like, what is your goal in terms of, you know, changing the perception of beauty with natural hair?
my whole entire goal is to, like I said earlier, is just to personally when I was younger, like I said, I did not see a lot of people that looked like me on television. They all had the straight, either like weaves or just like straightened hair. So I want little girls to see me and be like, oh, I can look like her too, or oh, I can just have my hair out and not be judged by that. So I just want people to feel liberated and feel like they can be themselves and just know that you are beautiful with your hair. I personally, I want to look different than everyone else. I don't want to look like the Western standard European beauty. I want to walk down the street and say I'm different. So I just want people to just accept yourselves and love yourselves and just know that you're beautiful without any type of hot comb, weave, or anything else.
Mm-hmm. Now, Tara, you touched on in the workplace, and I know you both have experience regarding the natural hair in the workplace, whether it's discrimination or acceptance in some way, shape, or form. Do you think that women are forced and to wear their hair in a natural state based on the jobs that they have, or are they forced to basically feel like they have to straighten it in order to keep a job, to get a job, to feel accepted in a job?
I definitely feel like a lot of times even if I have a client who is natural and pro, staying natural, when it's time for their interview, when they first get their job, they still, Tara, can you blow my hair out? Mm-hmm. Or should I get a wig? Should I get a weave? They feel like because the acceptance is not all the way there. Although we've come far, it's not,
right,
praised like it should be. Mm-hmm. Like she said, the other standard is what everyone is used to. So yes, I still feel like that same woman will do that because they feel the need to blend in, or they feel the need to be accepted first. And once I come in this way and I'm the way you think I am, and I show you my brilliant mind, and you realize my brain isn't outside of here, it's inside, they love me here. I'm gonna, Tara, guess what? This week, let's do natural. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's more a gradual thing that they start to, give after they've shown themselves. You
kind of have to warm them up, per se.
I feel like you do. Mm-hmm. However, they do. I'm lucky enough to, I own my own business. It's a service industry. We're very creative. I love women however you come, Mm-hmm. But corporate America, they have standards. Certain companies, their standards are it's a quarter past standards, it's discrimination. And that's still something that we argue on a regular. We still haven't gotten the support as a people. So it's still, you still have to go by those laws and guidelines if that's what they say, if that's the provisions, you have to go by it.
Right. And then I know that you have a personal experience with natural hair in the workplace where you wear the hair wraps. Mm-hmm. And there was something where basically you were told that you couldn't do that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I was told at the workplace that, I'm the only one at my workplace that wears head wraps. I love head wraps to death. And someone came up to me personally and was like, just to let you know, we are told that by policy you are not allowed to wear head wraps anymore. And I'm like, well, why? What's the issue? And it's, it was kind of between the lines. I wasn't given a definite answer, and it basically said that you had to have proof of religion in order to wear a head wrap, and I'm just that is literally discrimination. It's almost like saying where's your Star of David? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That was really, really discriminating. So I was I just don't understand why. That a person of color is probably the only one that's gonna be wearing a head wrap, so why would you feel the need that my head wrap is distracting my work ethic? Mm-hmm. It was very, very discriminating. I was very upset by that and I understand why. But
And that begs the question of young girls that are in school. We talk about the codes of conduct at the workplace, but they also have these codes of conduct in schools. And I can literally quote, there's a young girl by the name of Genesis Johnson who is from Florida, and she attended Lakeside Middle School. And she was essentially suspended based on her hairstyle, and she was suspended based on her hairstyle and wasn't allowed to return until she did something with her hair, I quote. But this is taken directly from their school code of conduct. Hairstyles that in the judgment of school admins, cause a disruption of the educational environment are not allowed. Students will be deemed insubordinate and will be disciplined accordingly.
So it goes back to slavery days. Like, you might as well just line us up and say, not you, you. You know what I mean? Like, it's just ridiculous.
It has to be some kind of legal ramification or something that says we can't exclude someone based on the style or texture of their hair. And not only that, we're excluding someone from an education based off of something as simple as how they look. So I have a couple of men in the audience. Is there some preference as to how you like your women to wear their hair?
Be honest.
Yes.
Be honest. Sir, what's your first name? Can I have you stand up?
Sure. Well, I mean, I believe that, a woman has a right to do what she wants to do with her hair. And as long as she feels good with it, that's good enough for me, for one. But I do believe that a natural style is more healthy. So I had dreads myself for 15 years. So, I understand how hard it is. And I also understand how it also does give you a feeling of self and gives you confidence because you have to deal with so much. So, I mean, it can go however she wants it to go. Whatever makes her happy, I'm happy with it.
Good answer. That's a perfect answer.
I think it depends on the man, though, because I definitely feel like there are some black men are just like, why is she wearing her hair like that? Why didn't she have a weave? I mean, it's just that whole brainwash thing. But there's also some men that I've dated myself that are that love it. They're just like, you really love yourself. They think that they like that confidence, I want to say. So I feel like it really depends on the man.
And there are some women who won't let their men see them without a weave, their hair done, nothing like that.
I used to be like that. Oh, let it rain, that hood's up. Like, we're not the Notebook over here.
We're not doing that.
On to what he said, I feel like a woman is going to look her best when she is confident.
Yes, 100%.
So if, it's something that we need to get over, but if this is a woman who is used to the straight hair beauty, you cannot just get her to go natural and think she's going to walk out and just be like, man, no. We still have to coach, and sometimes even when we're styling for naturals especially, we're continuously telling the customer, like, look at this is so pretty, look at your natural coil, you can do this. And even if today is not the day that you choose to do it, just know that you can do it. Maybe we can revisit this in the summer when it's humid. Like maybe we can try it that time, So they're not trying to keep that straight press. They're okay with, once it gets humid, dumping their hair under the water and going for it. Like, the confidence is what carries any hairstyle.
Yeah, I feel like what made me really love it is the more I studied and read about natural hair, the more I started falling in love with it. Like, for example, our hair defies gravity. The reason why it sticks up is because of the coils and the curls. So that's an interesting fact to me, you know what I mean? So if you just really study your hair and really figure out how magical it is, you're gonna fall in love with it.
Okay. All right, well, when Like It Is comes back, are you for or against other races profiting off of our customs, styles, and traits? This is Like It Is. We'll be right back. They say imitation is the best form of flattery, but when does imitation cross the line into appropriation? All right, but before we get into that, let's go to our audience member. Haji, you got a question?
Hi, how you doing? I love black women and their locks. But nowadays it seems like a lot of women are cutting their hair short, shorter than mine. Like women are getting tapers, and when I say something about it, some women get upset. Like,
In my business.
I'm like, I'm used to women with long flowing hair. Like, why are they cutting their hair? Like, why are they cutting their hair short? Like mine, lower than mine. Why are they doing that?
I think it's like a liberating thing. I feel like they feel like, so like hair, it's like you're almost judged by your hair, like how beautiful you are. So when you're bald, you can only judge someone by their face, by their personality. So it's like you can't judge anyone by what they're showing you. So I feel like when they shave their head, they're just, this is me, accept me for who I am, and yeah, that's what I think.
Okay, all right.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
I do feel like that there's a majority that feels that way. There's a nice percentage that also are shaving their head as a result of the years of like relaxing. The chemical, like I was saying earlier, does a lot of damage to your skin, like your scalp underneath your skin. So as the years go by, your hair is thinning and you're trying to do all these manipulations, it only gets worse. So the best way it looks the best when you cut it down and you let it go a little natural to blend in and hide some imperfections.
Okay.
Chemical.
Okay. Well, what I'm seeing now is women don't like wearing the wigs anymore. They just like wearing their hair short.
Is that something that you don't like?
Well, I'm from the days of LL Cool J. You know, a girl with extensions in her hair, bamboo earrings, at least 2 pair, a Gucci bag, and a bad attitude. That's what I look for.
Right. I personally love a black woman that is shaved. I feel like we have such beautiful features. I feel like once your head is shaved, or like if you have a head wrap on, it just shows how beautiful your face is. So I personally love it.
Yeah. Well, some girls can work with it. It works for them, but then some it doesn't.
Okay.
Well, hey, you already let us know what your personal preference is. Thank you, Howard.
Okay, you're welcome. All right.
Another gentleman in the audience. Go ahead
Okay.
and stand up.
Hi, ladies. How y'all doing? My name is Anise. I love black women. There's nothing more that I love than black women. But I'm not the biggest fan of weaves. My question is, when did weaves exactly start? And like when black women started wearing weaves? And do you think we'll ever get back to the days where sisters won't wear weaves and they'll rock their natural hair? All sisters across the country. Is that a possibility?
Trying to make us all go natural. You're like, nah, no weave, no nothing.
I think you should love what you sit there. Okay.
Good night. Okay. So, I think that would be beautiful. I don't think that that's going to happen. Just like, I hate to be negative, but I don't see it happening for a very long time, unless every factory blows up. There's going to be some women who want to wear weaves, want to wear wigs. Unless chemical factories explode, there will always be the women who want the relaxer or creamy crack. So you'll never get every woman to agree to one style. We're way too diverse as a people to just say, oh, we're all going to. Now, I would love to have a no weave day, all natural woman day. Oh, I would love that, you know. It would be good if more people, but even with that day being national, you will get 80% at best to participate.
When did they start? Like when did it be a more part of culture? Because I know, back in the days before Madam C.J. Walker came, she had to invent the comb for that situation. And so sisters, even at that time, they were wearing their natural hair, but they were just hot combing it, I guess. So, I wanted to know when that transition happened.
I would have to do research on the original. I know it's well before my time. And, even seeing old movies with the old bad weaves, like, oh, they need help. I don't know if the origination, it's funny that we're going to that point, the origination is from the Asian countries, or if that, I know now, modern day, we do have some hair factories right here, and where we produce hair, we weft hair and supply hair right to our own. So I'm not sure if it was something that was foreign or not, but I know it's back there, because when I see old movies from before my time, it's some weave in there.
And I believe that
And
you know,
wigs,
after
definitely
the
wigs.
movement of the Angela Davis in the 60s, I think the 70s kind of started the
Especially
weaves
the
and the
Afro
wigs,
wigs.
and
Yeah,
yeah, you know, a lot of women started wearing it, and today it's the most popular thing. You can go on Instagram or social media, somebody has a weave line, right?
Everybody
so
has.
just like Tara's saying, we don't think that the weave is going anywhere long term. But to go back to our original topic about cultural appropriation, I want to know, let's talk a little bit about that before we go to break. What's the difference between cultural appropriation, cultural exchange, and cultural assimilation? They're three different things, but it seems like, you know, we get a little bit of each from the pot.
Sometimes it blends.
Right.
You know, sometimes it's hard to see. I don't know if you can say which category a person or what they're doing fits into without knowing their intention. You know, some people, they just admire what they see, and because of that, you know, they try to adopt some of the trend.
But is it right? But is it right? We see it all the time.
Touchy
We
subject.
see all of the, come on, we all know. We see it all the time in the media, a lot of celebrities appropriating our culture and passing it off as our own. How many times have we seen Kim K and they say, oh, as soon as she
Boxer
wears
braids.
it, it's box braids, and we've been wearing braids for
Cornrows.
years. Cornrows for years. So is it right?
I don't think it's right, and it's definitely not right when you change the name of something that we originated, you know?
That's correct.
But I do, I mean, there's a lot of blending going on in this world, you know? So sometimes when you blend cultures, it could be a way of her or some people trying to show that I love what you do and I want to be, I hate to say be down, but you know, I want to show you that there is no hate here. This is all love here. So like, maybe they're trying to show you that they're down with that culture too. You know, they're trying to get a pass. You know how that works.
Can they be down without knowing the history and really understanding?
I don't think you
where
can be
it
down.
comes from?
Absolutely not.
You know
You
what I
cannot be down, but you can be an affiliate. You know, I'm not gonna have hate for you, but you're not. You can't be a you know, a sister unless you're a sister. You know, I just feel that way.
I feel like we already have so many things about us that are duplicated, such as the lip injections, the all the other surgeries. You cannot duplicate our hair. Like our hair, you can't copy it. Like Caucasian hair cannot hold like braids for a reason. Like their texture cannot. There's a reason why. So like our hair is all we have. So like why try to take that as well? You know what I mean? You have everything else. Like why take that as well? It's one thing we do have. So it's a very touchy subject with me. I just don't. I don't really.
You touched on it with the butt injections and all of that kind of.
Yeah, I
that's
was
for
like, add it to the
another
list.
topic for another day. But I mean, just that we used to be in human zoos for our
Correct.
amazing physiques, and now
Correct.
they're appropriating our bodies today in today's society. But we do have another comment in the audience. How you doing?
Fine, how are you? I have a comment about what you're talking about now. I think we as women are affected by the media.
Absolutely.
And what is perceived as beauty, European standards. So we have to get back to who we are and learn our history and our proud heritage and our ancestry. And I think if our young ladies knew that, they would be more proud to show their natural beauty and the way God made them.
Absolutely.
But I also have another comment. We talked a little bit about other people making money from our dollars that we spend. We have to bear in mind that when we spend our money, it's our dollar vote, and we determine by spending our money what businesses stay in business, what products, where those businesses stay in business, and who makes the money from us. So we have to be conscious about where we spend our dollars, and because it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, hair products, we have to be conscious of going to a black business and spending our money, dollars in our community with our people.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Because it is said that our dollars turn over once in our community, and our businesses don't last in our community because we don't think about who is benefiting from our dollars, our hard-earned dollars. And we have to be conscious of that and spend our money in our community with Black businesses.
Yes.
And then therefore Black people will flourish, our community will flourish, we will be better off, and other people will stop making as much money off of us than we do from our own dollars.
I agree.
So we have to teach our children to be conscious of that.
Yeah,
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. You made a wonderful, wonderful point about that. Women consume 80% of the hair care industry, but only own 3% of it. So what are we doing today, or what can we do? Let's brainstorm in terms of what we can do to really take our place in the hair care industry and really start owning what we consume.
Well, personally, I am very proud of companies like Carol's Daughter and a lot of other Black business owners. You know, a lot of ethnic companies, when it comes to hair products, have been ran not by us. You know, we're, like she said, we're putting our money into, you know, a lot of other salons that I know, they have a beta salons, and, you know, I'm not gonna go into a whole bunch of business names, but we are definitely promoting these other people who, honestly, I worked in a Vita salon. I came up in one. Their products are natural, plant-based. They are not good for our hair. Like, there's definitely not enough moisture in their products. Even when I worked in a salon there, I literally had a sneak bottle of oil for our clients, because that is not going to do it for our hair, you know? So I appreciate the other companies coming out with things that our specific needs for hair, and I do support them, you know. I think that is very big, and I think that it's going to just give us strength, you know, as a whole, as a culture. But it's really hard, you know, when it comes to owning a lot of these companies that supply us, because we started down, you know, so the way to get in, like, just a little history, I worked for a company overseas producing weaving hair, ponytail pieces, and wigs for the American market. And I would go back and forth all the time and work with them, and, you know, they made me feel good, like, oh, you're the boss. But they, you know, now, hindsight is 20/20, years later, I realized you were just taking all of my ideas, you know, and although I was paid a small percentage that seemed big to me, they were making millions of dollars. And I was also sent back to the US, to Atlanta, LA, Chicago, New York, on a very regular rotated basis to see how our sales are going here. So I'm seeing wigs that I designed over there come over here, being sold to American companies on the shelves and leading in these stores. And then they're like, oh, well, you get a commission off of that. You get a X% of sales. And I'm like,
But it's your idea.
yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And these are the leading, you just said, this is the second month that they're the leading styles in the wig side, and this is the leading ponytail, you know, like, so why, don't get me, I appreciate it, you know, because I don't have a factory to produce it, you know, but even with all of that, you know, Tara, you went behind the scenes, you know this, you know that, you still can't get to the top. They find a way to cut you out of those things. It didn't start this way. It will take a lot and a lot of unity for us to be able to rise above
the games.
Yeah, I feel like we're seen as a dollar sign sometimes,
Absolutely.
as opposed to actual customers. And I feel like you're right. If we do support ourselves, because Black people will not support us as well as Black people will support each other. So I feel like if we really just focus on the whole, like, staying strictly towards Black businesses, we'd be able to.
That's where the
We actually have a comment. All right, put your comment.
The question I have is, people was telling me that white women started wearing weaves before Black women, and I just wanted to know, is that true? Because I mean, obviously, I'm a guy. I can't tell if it's a wig or a weave or what.
I don't know what exact year, but though women wore like really, really, really long weaves, like to the ground when they were having like balls and such. So they did technically wear them first, which is kind of funny how we get bashed for wearing them when they wore them first. But yeah, you're right. They did actually wear them first. That's funny.
I was gonna say that I wouldn't want to X out the white men who wore wigs, you know.
Right. The kings.
Yeah,
a lot of times.
So it goes way far back. Like I said, I wouldn't want to answer a question like that without doing the
Knowing a little
research
bit
and
more.
knowing for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, but it goes way back beyond black women starting this before. No, it goes way, way back.
Yeah.
And just real quick, do you think that when we are straightening our hair, do you think that we're appropriating?
You know,
another
I thought
culture?
about that, but I did not want to say that. When you asked the
I
question
thought about
earlier,
that
I mean, we gotta talk
about
both
that too.
sides. We gotta talk both
I
sides.
mean, well, even if you want to consider that appropriating, I think we were forced to. You know, like if you're saying that my hair is unkempt and I can't come here untamed, then what else can I do besides you're basically saying if you don't look like me and this young lady hair, that hair isn't welcome. So what else am I going to do? I'm going to go home and what can I do to be accepted? Like I said, my clients come to me, I'm getting a new job. They don't know what to do with this. You're going to have to blow it out, you know? So I think it's more for, they made us have to do that to be accepted in their workforce, in their world. So if it's appropriation, it's forced.
Right. The oppressed can't appropriate. So,
Yeah.
But we have another comment or question.
Hey sisters, how y'all doing?
Hi.
I just want to direct the conversation back to what we were talking about. Only about 3% of African American women or African women are in the beauty, supply, hair industry. What I'm really excited about seeing is social media and how social media has really opened up an avenue for African American, African women, women of color to really start staking a claim into the beauty industry. I know a ton of friends that have starting to develop their own hair care products such as oils and shampoos and co-washes, and they're positioning them right online and using the free market, social media market that have access Facebook. What is it? 300 billion people use Facebook, and they're using those tools and those mechanisms to get the products out. Yeah. And as they start developing capital and getting capital so they can eventually start having factories and the such, they're starting. And that's something we want to applaud from our ladies that are starting to grasp that market. So, and I also know a sister, her name is Ngazi. She is a part of she started the heat-free hair movement about 5 years ago. And she went and took money and went to China and started to learn the manufacturing of hair. And she sat with them and learned it, and now has launched her own heat-free hair movement, selling the wigs, the extensions, the hair unbundled, and so I'm applauding Black women and women of culture that are saying, hey, look, I am going to take this market and I'm going to grab it by the horns, and I am going to immerse myself in it. And I'm really proud of the sisters that are starting to buy from one another. Yes. So keep it up, ladies.
Oh. Yeah.
Like it is, we'll be right back with final thoughts. So like it is. We have an additional comment.
So as we begin to kind of push some steam into this movement, I would love to hear from the panelists as we close some ways that this movement can keep chugging and we can get as many people on board. I know one thing that I love to see that my friends are doing with their girlfriends is that they're not giving the children a chance to manipulate their hair, that they're telling their girls the same way we tell our kids what football team to love and the same way we, let them know how to love. We're letting our girls know, hey, look, your hair is beautiful. You are beautiful. This is how we wear your hair. And the kids are saying, great, mommy, but you don't look like me. And I love that thing that we're pushing into our young girls is forcing us as older women to really start embracing our natural hair. What are some other ways that we can really keep this hair care and this natural hair movement going?
Great question. That's a great question.
I think that, again, goes to the media. They are like the driving force for years now. Seeing more people on TV that you can identify with makes your situation less foreign. So our young girls seeing, younger, like Princess Tiana, and now they have more ethnic, characters that are coming out to influence them, along with the influence from their mom and other young Black girls and teenagers who they aspire to be, embracing themselves in a natural state. And, your social media run, all of those things that's the start of the strength of us as a people, of acceptance, us as a culture, our hair, our natural. I think it's all within that movement, you know. I think it's happening on its own right now.
Yeah, I think also like the events that we do, there's like natural hair movements now, like in New York and like LA and stuff. So when we like gather like together and become almost like a sisterhood, that's when I feel like it gets spread more and everyone feels more loved and they want to continue. Yep. So.
All right, very good. Now, any final thoughts as advocates, both of you as advocates of the natural hair care movement? What do you want people to take away from this conversation, and what do you want to push moving forward?
I'll probably have to say definitely just love your hair, study it, make sure you be mindful of what you're putting in your hair. I know that definitely check the ingredients. I was a very advocate user of Cantu, and then I just recently found out they have a certain alcohol in their products that causes breakage. I had no idea why my hair was breaking, and I'm like, what am I using? I stopped using everything, and then I read up on it, and there's this alcohol in it that it was breaking my hair, and now I stopped using it, and my hair is a little bit more healthy now. And just make sure you're mindful of what you're putting in your hair, and definitely just read up on it and love it, because it's one of a kind. So.
I agree. I agree with what she's saying. Love your hair, love yourself. You know, just don't be scared to stand alone, even if there's not a lot of women who are doing what you're doing. Whatever your lane is in your hopefully natural hair journey, you know, just go with it and be confident. You know, confidence is going to make anything you choose to do for yourself, with yourself, better.
That's the end of another informative show. I would like to thank our guest, Tara Dean of Tara's Hair Salon and Spa, and model Sequoia Chavon for lending their expertise to this discussion. Also, thank you to Golden Crust Pizza, located at 7155 Germantown Avenue, for catering today's show. Our guest information, as well as past episodes, can be found on our Facebook page, Like It Is. You can also watch the show on our YouTube channel, Like It Is, and tune in on Saturdays at 5 o'clock p.m. on Comcast Channel 66 and Verizon Channels 29 and 30 in Philadelphia County. We hope this conversation has enlightened you about the natural hair movement and inspired those thinking about going natural to take the leap. Out of the chains, it is now the Black woman's decision how her beauty is defined. Choose wisely. Our children are watching. Remove the kinks from our mind, not your hair. Marcus Garvey.
Talk about it. Talk about it.